Dominic D reporting for Kids First. Today, we have the honor to speak with Brian Skerry and Brian Armstrong about Secrets of the Whales, a new National Geographic 4-part documentary, which begins streaming on Disney Plus on Earth Day, April 22nd, 2021. Brian Skerry is a photojournalist specializing in marine wildlife, has spent more than 10,000 hours underwater capturing the finest pictures and video footage, which he shares with the world. His research has been documented in Secrets of the Whales. Brian Armstrong is an award-winning filmmaker, producer, journalist, and environmental advocate, and is the creative force behind the writing, producing, and directing of Secrets of the Whales. It's great to have them with us today. Welcome, Mr. Skerry and Mr. Armstrong.
Hey, Dominic. Great to be with you, Dominic.
Let's dive right in. Your research, which contributed to the film series, is simply astonishing. It took you 3 years, and you covered 24 locations while filming, which I'm sure had its challenges. What was your biggest success in filming for this series?
Well, you make a really great point, Dominic. You know, the notion of doing a series about whale culture is filled with many challenges. Just working in the ocean alone is hard, you know? You have to have good weather to get in a boat and go out to sea. The whales have to be there. The underwater visibility has to be good because we need to get very close to the whales. Even in the clearest of water, we can't use telephoto lenses. The sun generally has to be shining for us to see the whales and get detail and color. And then ideally they're doing something interesting and will let us close. So those were a lot of the real big challenges that we had to face in doing something like Secrets of the Whales. The second part of your question was about what exactly did we sort of learn, or I'm sorry, what was the last part?
What was your biggest success in filming this series?
Success. Well, you know, we had a shot list going in. So Brian and I had meetings. We talked about the kinds of things we hoped we could capture with whale culture, something that really hadn't been done before. So you have a kind of a big wish list. But we actually exceeded that. Despite all of those challenges, we not only were able to achieve all the things we hoped we would get, but we got so much more. There were so many beautiful jewels, moments that you could never be so bold as to script, and they just happened. You know, an orca feeding me a stingray, or seeing a mom carry her dead baby, or a sperm whale mom trusting us to let us close and get that behavior that had never been filmed before. So, you know, there was so many of those moments, and it was really a great privilege to be able to see all of those things during the course of filming Secrets of the Whales.
That is a huge success to see all those majestic moments with whales, and I really wish I was there because they just actually captured me right there.
All right.
I wish I was right there.
Cool.
Each location you take us to in Secrets of the Whales is so incredible. Do you have a favorite location that you filmed at?
You know, it's hard to say that there's one favorite location, because the truth of the matter is every place has its own charm. You know, if I'm in Alaska with humpback whales bubble net feeding, that is just so beautiful, the majesty of the mountains. And then, you know, we might go to New Zealand where it's absolutely stunning. We're driving on these windy roads and going out on boats in the North Island of New Zealand, or we're in the Eastern Caribbean with sperm whales in Dominica, where there's palm trees and, you know, beautiful blue water. So every place really has its own charm. And I think, and I'm sure Brian would agree with this, that when you're in a place, you get caught up in the culture of wherever you are, you know, whatever the foods you're eating and the people you're working with. And that's part of the real special part of our jobs, I guess, is that each place has its own charm.
For me, it'd be difficult to choose a favorite location in this this series, because each is really unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now for Mr. Armstrong. You had an extensive career with National Geographic, and I'm sure that you've been in a wide variety of places on the globe, but filming of Secrets of the Whales took you into some pretty remote locations. As a director, what challenges did this film present?
Well, as the other Brian was saying, you add salt water to anything when you're trying to make a film, and you have a recipe for chaos. You know, the ocean is the natural born enemy for anything electronic. And we have a lot of electronics when we're doing our filming. And we also have jibs and things that can rust. And we have, you know, long lenses and gyro stabilized cameras. And that's just, it's just a real challenge when you're out there. In terms of locations, I got to spend 7 weeks in Antarctica. And that you felt like you're at the end of the earth, but in the best sense of the word. It's this environment that is unique and spectacular. And the whales there, it just felt like they were giving us a gift every time we tried to film with them. We came across one humpback that was sleeping, and I really wanted a shot of its eye opening up. So we put our cameraman Ernie Kovacs in the water from 200 meters out, and he swam very, very quietly up to the whale. He was really close, and he just got underneath it, no scuba gear, just really quiet, and just waited, and then its eye opened, this big, huge eye open. And it's a little tricky because the eyelids are a little different to ours to work out where that eye is going to be. And then it's like, well, what's it going to do now? You know, because it's got the largest pectoral fins of any animal on the planet, and along the edge are all these barnacles that are super sharp. You could take off his head. How would you feel if you wake up from your sleep and there's someone looking at you with a big single camera lens like this? You know, you could freak out. But this whale, it decided that it wasn't going to freak out. It decided it wanted to play. And this is something that Brian Skerry's experienced a lot as well, where these are such sentient beings and they're so curious. And it just swam around Ernie and played, and it was just a real delight and a privilege for it to let us into its world like that.
Thanks for sharing that. That was actually really interesting. Each episode of this mini-series is so unique, with many first-time ever recorded moments. What was it like to direct a film with so many unknowns and first-time events?
Oh, that's such a privilege to be able to say. People ask what's our best moment, and there are so many firsts that it's a joy to be able to share. But here's one I haven't shared, and this is an exclusive for you, Dominic. And it's one of my favorite shots in the film is in Sri Lanka, where Brian Skerry's in the water, and whales can communicate on several different ways, right? And these whales may not have been totally happy he was there, so two of them came in like this, either side, and they went like that, and as they went past, they both did a big poop right around him. So the water filled with sperm whale poop, and Brian's in there amongst that, trying to get out. And you know, the poop's actually really important to the ecosystem. But I have to say, just to see Brian Skerry pooped on by a whale was a pretty special moment for me.
And I'm going to defend myself and just add a little asterisk to that and say that before sperm whales dive, they always poop. So I don't know if I was being pooped on intentionally or they just happened to be diving at that moment. So we can debate that in the time ahead.
It was intentional.
But I will say this too. It's good luck to get pooped on by a whale. So there you go.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Back to Mr. Skerry. There is so much environmental education in this series, and I felt honored to learn more about this majestic whales of our ocean. Within these films, which species do you believe holds the greatest secrets?
Boy, that's a great question, Dominic. You know, I think that the reality is we are just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of understanding the true secrets of the whales. This documentary series reveals many of them, and it was built on the foundation of science. It is rooted deeply in science. So what we're trying to do is give visual context to the research that has been done in recent years about these animal cultures. But studying whales is difficult for all the reasons I described. Filming whales is difficult. So I think, you know, to say that one is has more secrets than another would probably be a mistake. You know, right now there's a new effort just beginning about trying to figure out what sperm whale language is all about. They have these unique dialects and we don't really understand what they're saying. So maybe in the time ahead with artificial intelligence and machine learning and gathering lots of data, we'll begin to decode their messages. Beluga whales, their environment is changing so rapidly as the Arctic melts and ice is retreating and ship traffic will increase. What are they saying? You know, we just learned in recent months that researchers say that beluga whales babies are named by the mother, but in the beginning, they just get the same name as the mother. And then when they begin to learn to speak true beluga language, they get their own name. But what other things might they be saying? What are the sperm whales doing in the deep ocean? We can't really see that. Orcas are cosmopolitan. They live throughout the entire planet, but their world is changing too. They're for the first time being seen in the Canadian Arctic now because they never used to go there, but because ice is changing. So, technology, it's an exciting time for filming in the ocean. We're being able to see things in lower light and in deeper places with underwater drones and listening devices. So I think it's so many more of these secrets will be revealed in the time ahead, but I'm not confident saying that any one species has more secrets than another. I think it's all equally fascinating, and the time ahead will be very fascinating.
I find beluga whales to be really interesting, but orca whales have really fascinating hunting patterns.
Yeah, they sure do. And I would say arguably orca are probably the most intelligent animal in the ocean. I don't know if that's fair to say because they're all really smart, but boy, they are scary smart. I describe them as when they're when I'm in the presence of them, it's like being scanned by a supercomputer. They probably know what I had for dinner last night.
Mr. Armstrong, in Secrets of the Whales, were you among the divers underwater witnessing the numerous whale interactions?
Oh, I'm not that silly. No, I let someone else do the scary stuff. I was out there on the boat on a whole bunch of shoots and traveling around in Western Australia and Antarctica and Dominica and sometimes with Brian. And I do dive. I've been diving since I was 18 years old and love it. But the specialty nature of the kind of filming we were doing, there wasn't room for a less experienced diver. We have experts who do that sort of stuff for us.
And I would also say, Dominic, that, when you're in the presence of whales, it's often better to have a very small group or a single person. Whales can easily be frightened. So if you're very non-threatening and just one or maybe two people approach very quietly over time, you will see those magical moments. And, Brian is an expert storyteller. He's a great director and can see and envision. So as the divers are coming back and he's reviewing footage on the boat, he can make decisions about what needs to be done next and what, if we know we got the shot that we need, and then we can move on to something else, or if we need to spend more time working on that particular scene. So it's really a team effort. It's a collaborative effort from many people who are bringing all these different skills to the table.
Thanks for sharing that. Mr. Skerry, what advice do you have for people who dream of reaching the point of excellence you have reached with photography?
That's a great question, Dominic. I would say that, whatever your passion is, whatever your dream is, you should follow it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something, because I am living proof that, you can do anything. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I think you just have to have a great desire to do the things that you dream about, and a great strategy. It's one thing to dream about something, but unless you have a plan, unless you can figure out how am I going to get from where I am today to where I want to be in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, then it might not happen. So, it's great to have passion and dreams, but also think about it like a little bit of a business. What do I need to do? If I want to be a great photographer, I need a great portfolio, or a videographer, I need a great reel, a collection of my best moments. So what skills do I need to acquire along the way? Do I need to go to college? Do I need to take workshops? Do I need to apprentice with another photographer or filmmaker? These are all the things that you can do to get the skills to then, reach that level of excellence that you want to do. But at the end of the day, it's about passion, about a big dream, and a strategy for success.
We can certainly appreciate that. Thank you so much, Brian Skerry and Brian Armstrong, for talking with us today. Secrets of the Whales begins streaming on April 22nd, 2021 on Disney+. What a great way to celebrate Earth Day. You're not going to want to miss this series, folks.
Well, thank you, Dominic. It was wonderful being with you, and I appreciate your questions, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm Dominic D, pointing for Kids First. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to see more reviews. Catch you next time!